And there I am. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Breakfast with Disaster. Hope you guys are all out there having a good new year. If you've never watched Breakfast with Disaster before, it's very simple. We go live every Tuesday at 10 a.m. We tell you all the worst things that can happen to you so you can make sure that your life goes right or more right or pretty right. Disaster kind of comes for us all eventually. We can help you deal with that too. My name is Dan Bauer. I'm here with SERVPRO, the South Townsend SERVPRO of West Seneca, Lancaster. This is our first show of the new year. Good morning, Diane. And I'm very happy to be here. I am curious to know if everybody's doing the New Year's resolution thing. Would love to know if you want to throw that in the comments here. I was reading about this before I signed on here, and what I was told is that there's kind of a formula for these, which I did not know. You have to make them SMART, which is an acronym. It means specific, measurable, achievable, what is the R? Relevant, and time-bound. As in, you give yourself an amount of time. Leanne forgot about her resolutions. I kind of don't do it myself. I would like to get my chess rating up. I'm not going to bore you guys with that. Chess is a lot less exciting than the Queen's Gambit makes it seem. There's a lot less partying in France than you might imagine. But if you guys have resolutions, I would love to know. You can throw them in the comments there so I know you're here. If you never watched the show before, it's very simple. I am going to go through some nightmare scenarios for you. I'll show you some cool pictures. You'll have a blast. And at the end, we do a drawing for the SERVPRO Mug Club. People get these fancy schmancy mugs. There are numbers on the bottom. I register them on a prize wheel, and if I call your number, you get a prize. And if you're watching when I call your number, you get a double prize, which is pretty cool for just kind of hanging out for 10 minutes. So if you are watching, make sure that you comment so that I know you're here. There's no other way for me to know. I don't get a viewer list. I wish I were that fancy. I just need a comment from you so I know you're here so you can get your double prize and start the new year off right. Unfortunately, I'm going to give you your weekly warning right now and show you that maybe the new year is not going to start off super right. And I do want to point out, by the way, we're taking this one back to basics. Tyler, my counterpart, he's out today. He's going to be back tomorrow, so this is just me doing the weekly warning. Remember this? A weekly warning you probably already know about if you're an avid news watcher and a Patrick Hammer fan like me. And it's that we've got a winter storm warning brewing tomorrow, Wednesday, at around 7 p.m. and lasting until Thursday at 7 p.m., a 24-hour period there. We've got a winter storm warning here in western New York. It's kind of varied how bad it's going to be from different predictions. The latest numbers I saw is people are expecting some lake effect snow, come off the lake, that big, heavy, wet, gross snow, maybe mixed with rain at points. They're looking at an accumulation of maybe 10 to 20 inches in that 24-hour period, which is no joke. Most of that's going to be in the city of Buffalo. There's going to be some in the South Towns as well. And it's not going to be fun for anyone. When a storm like this is brewing, there are a couple of different risks that you should be aware of. Obviously, me, I'm SERVPRO. I think of water damage. You can see, especially when there's a potential for a lot of snow and then a lot of snow melt really fast. Nobody's roofs are going to collapse or anything, but that snow can melt. Water can get into people's basements and can get into their houses. It can come in through their roofs if there are leaks. Sometimes without them realizing it in case of ice jams. And that is certainly a risk. More so than that, I would say on Wednesday, the big risk is driving visibility. If you got plans on Wednesday, maybe rethink them. Especially if you're going on the Skyway, there's going to be gusts of up to 40 miles an hour there, on top of just poor visibility snow. If you do have to drive, make sure you're prepared for the worst. Gas up your car, charge your phone, text your friends when you leave, and make sure you've got food, water, blankets, that whole deal in your car, just in case something happens, but I'm sure it won't. You guys are all very careful. Good drivers. I don't know why they are texting me now. So that's my weekly warning. Got a winter storm watch coming at you. Be prepared. But we're actually going to take this to the disaster forecaster. I just want to take a quick second to say good morning to everyone. Diane, Nicole, Leanne, Lisa, Kathy, Patty, Lynn, Tara, Jackie. If I missed anyone, I'm sorry. I'm just scrolling through. We're going to do something for you called the disaster forecaster. And this is actually one of my favorite things to do on this show. I've got oodles and oodles and oodles of SERVPRO data. Proprietary, exclusive, secret data about all the kinds of disasters that we respond to here in Western New York, all over the area. And what I've done is I've put it in a form where I can look back, look at every month and see when certain things kind of spike, when they're higher than normal, higher than average. And I have kind of bad news for you about January. We already talked about the snowstorm that's coming tomorrow. But January is also the hottest month in Western New York for electrical fires. And I'll show you what one looks like because they are pretty intense. These electrical fires, they spike about 25% in January. That's more than double. I looked it up. The national spike in January is about 12%. Here it's about 25%. This is one that we worked on out in Elma a couple years back. This was right actually off the tails of our New Year's break. We got back. We're trying to get settled, and about 7 a.m. we get a phone call actually from the resident's daughter, which is extra scary to me, saying that her mom had a fire. It started on the second floor in the middle of the night. They weren't sure why. Turned out to be an electrical issue. Thankfully, her mom got out. She evacuated. She called the fire department, and they were able to respond. But you can see this is a pretty severe mess. This is up here on the second floor. Not salvageable. This is something where you end up gutting that second floor basically down to the studs and rebuilding. The first floor, not as bad. Some of it cleanable, but totally soaking wet from the firefighting effort, which is bad. You can see here's a little bit more of the first floor. Not so bad. There's just some soot. If you can see here, this is the roof. You should not be able to see daylight through your roof, which was bad because this was not a good weather week. Temperatures range from about 0 to 3 degrees. It was snowing, it was raining. There's a hole in the roof. There's water everywhere. It's kind of a mess. And so how do you deal with something like this, I think, is a fair question. That's kind of what we do, and so I'll tell you. The adjuster ended up calling us in and just said, I know you guys can kind of handle this from A to Z. Will you just fix this, please? And we said, sure. A couple of steps in that. First and foremost is, and this is not a great picture, but one of the things that happens during fires, electrical or not, is people get displaced for a long time. Because it takes a while to sort this sort of stuff out. They end up in a hotel room for months, potentially, sometimes over a year if it's really severe. And one of the things that makes that bearable is having some familiar things with you. So one of the first things we did here is do the laundry. We have our industrial laundry machine, and it just makes people's lives a lot easier if one of the first things you do is go in, bag up all the laundry, and wash it so they have access to all their clothes, all their stuff while they are displaced, instead of having to go buy new stuff. On insurance's dime, it can get a little weird. This is one of the first things that we ended up doing. They were especially concerned about certain textiles like their antique furniture. Again, this is not a great picture, but you can see there was quite a bit of furniture in this house. We made sure that we were able to salvage that as much as possible. And then it just ended up being a whole lot of demolition, pulling down all that debris, getting rid of everything that just was non-salvageable, kind of gutting this house down to the studs and preparing it to rebuild, as well as drying out all that water, setting up temporary power and heat. It was a big project, but as you can see, this just looks a heck of a lot better than it did here, right? Or here, or here. And this was not an easy project. It was not done, it still took us quite a bit of time to get them to this point, but this then allowed our reconstruction team to come in and rebuild and kind of give them a new lease on this house. And I guess the thing I want you to know, mostly having gone through that and seeing how severe that damage was, is that electrical fires are something to be taken seriously, which seems obvious, except when you think about how people use electricity. I cannot tell you how many people's houses I've walked into and they've had frayed extension cords running under area rugs, which are, just begging to go up in flames, or, old appliances that are obviously not working correctly, or space heaters sitting on blankets in bedrooms. I see it all the time, and not just because I work for SERVPRO. Electrical fires are kind of scary because they're unpredictable. You can get away with that stuff sometimes for a long time before something happens. But when they do happen, they can be very severe. They can happen without warning, and thankfully nobody was hurt in this fire, but it's not uncommon for there to be real issues stemming from this sort of thing, just because it is so sudden and unexpected and can be very, very serious. So that's your disaster forecaster for January. We're looking at potentially quite a few electrical fires. Be safe. Don't take unnecessary risks. Don't run extension cords all through your house just because you're too lazy to put in a plug. It's not worth the risk, and unfortunately, in January, we're probably going to see that come to a head. That's my disaster forecaster. I think you guys are probably ready for the grand event, the big prize drawing. Let me just pop back into the chat, see who's here. Hi, Nate, Maria, Kathy, Noel, Tara. Guys, if you are on here and you're in the Mug Club, shoot me a comment so I know you're here in case you win, so you get your double prize. And if you're not part of the Mug Club but you are watching, let me know that too. I will make sure I get you one of these fancy mugs. We'll get you registered. You can win your prize. So shoot your comments now. I am going to do the drawing. We've got quite a few names on here. We are growing. You guys ready? All right, here we go. Make sure I bring the wheel up so you can see it, so you know I'm not cheating. And let us spin. Here we go. Morning, Christy. Morning, Karen. We are getting to looking like 365. Who is that? Oh, that is going to be Steve Stremecki over at Bear State Farm. Steve, are you on with us today? Steve, I'm going to give you 5 seconds to get your double prize, or else this is going to go down to a single one. Is Steve here? All right, no, nothing from Steve, so all quiet on that front. Steve, I will shoot you an email and let you know you won. We will sort out how to get you your prize. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out today. Next week, you'll have a little bit more Tyler, a little less me, I'm thinking. Maybe we'll have him on to run the show since I got to run one solo today. Until then, have a wonderful day. Great New Year's. Be careful with this snowstorm. You know, I know everybody in Buffalo thinks they are immune to snowstorms until something happens. And if you have a disaster, if you have that water damage, fire damage, if you just need a friend, give me a call. I am more than happy to get out there ASAP 24/7 to give you a hand. Until then, my name's Dan Bauer with SERVPRO, the Southtowns. This has been Breakfast with Disaster. We'll see you next Tuesday at 10:10. Bye, everybody.